and welcome back to my channel. This is all the books that I want to get to this winter. I'm going to consider winter the rest of November and then December, January and February. And these books are not necessarily set in winter, but they just give winter vibes. Like they're dark, they feel cold, or even some of them are cozy if you need a little cozy pick-me-up. Most of these are just like dark fantasy books that I feel fit the winter tone and vibe. I also have a very Christmassy outfit on today with my tartan skirt, so I feel very in a cozy wintry mood. Yeah, let's go through all the books that I will hopefully get to this winter. First is House of Salt and Sorrow, and this is a dark YA fantasy book. And I think it's based on something like the 12 Dancing Sisters story. I think there's a Barbie movie about it. Basically, the main character is one of 12 sisters, but there's no longer 12 sisters because a lot of them end up dying, and everyone in this kingdom thinks that their family has really bad luck or they're cursed somehow. And the main character starts to believe that the deaths of her sisters were not just accidents and there might be something more sinister going on. That's all I know about this book, but I've read from this author before and I really enjoyed that book, so I hopefully will like this. And I know a lot of people who like this book as well, and it just seems like a dark fairy tale which will be perfect for winter. I also have Krampus by Brom, and this is definitely getting read this December because it is a Christmas horror book about Krampus, who I'm pretty sure is like the evil version of Santa. I don't know much about it. I know it's like folklore, but that's all I know. And I've read from this author before as well, and I read his book Slewfoot, which was about a witch getting vengeance, and I really liked that book. So yeah, this is definitely getting read in December. I also have The Road of Bones, which is a dark adult fantasy romance, and I know this is set in like a wintry landscape. I think it's supposed to be like a fantasy version of Scandinavia, and I know there's Vikings in it as well, so definitely one to be read in the winter. I know this follows the main character Scylla, who's running for her life, and she sneaks aboard a wagon carriage thing, and it turns out that that belongs to this crew of Vikings and she has to seek safety among their ranks. That's all I know about this book, but people really like it. They say it's a really good romantasy book, and I do like romantasy as a genre, but I just don't love every book I read in the genre. But I feel like this is one of the ones that I could enjoy. If I enjoy Road of Bones, I actually have the sequel, Kingdom of Claw, and I don't normally buy sequels before I read the first book in a series, but as you can see on the sticker on the book, £1. That is insane. I got this in the Waterstones sale. My local Waterstones just had a bunch of shelves with some reduced books. I think it was because they were slightly damaged or they were going like out of stock. They weren't going to sell the book anymore or something like that. And I saw this right away because I recognised the cover from the first book, and I saw it was £1, and I thought, yeah, there's no way I'm not picking this up. Like, if I don't love the first book and I don't want to read the sequel, it's not much of a loss because it's only £1. But if I do love the first book and I want to read the sequel, how much of a win is that for me that I paid £1 for it? So yeah, if I love the first book, I will also try and read this in the winter as well. I also want to get to Grave Empire, which is a dark adult fantasy book about this, I think it's a medieval fantasy, and it's set in this city that's being ravaged by a plague. That's all I know about this book, but I'm really excited to read it. The reviews are really good and it sounds like something I would enjoy, so I want to get to this one as well. I just feel like dark fantasy is perfect for winter time, so hopefully I can get to this one as well. Now for a slightly less dark one and more of a cozy one, it's Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter. Very wordy title, but this is by the same author as the Emily Wilde series, and I absolutely love that series, so I'm looking forward to this. But this is a cozy fantasy romance, and it follows the main character who sets up this charity cat shelter after her husband dies, and she actually gets forced to move locations, and she finds out that the new location for the store is actually a front for this guy's other business. I'm not sure what exactly the details are, but this other guy turns out to be the love interest, I think. But I absolutely love this author's writing. I think it's very quirky and she always just has really unique and interesting characters. So I feel like this is perfect cozy fantasy to read. This is also a review copy that I got sent by the publishers. This doesn't come out till February, so I feel very lucky that I get to read it early. But yeah, I am so excited for this and hopefully I like it as much as I like her other series. Also really want to get to The Sword of Kaigen. This is like a really chunky, epic high fantasy book, and I know it's a story mainly about this mother and son. The mother is like a former warrior before she had children in a war somewhere. I don't know the details. Basically, another war arrives when her son is grown and they both have to enlist and fight together. I've heard this book is very tragic and sad. I also read another book by this author, Blood Over Bright Haven, and that book was also very sad. So I have a feeling that, yeah, this one is also going to be quite emotional, but I've been meaning to read this for a while. It's very intimidating, but hopefully I can get to it this winter. I also really want to get to The Devils, mainly because this is my current read, so if I can't finish it in time for winter ending, then that's not very good of me. This is an adult high fantasy set in ancient medieval Europe, and it mainly takes place in Rome and Vatican City. And we follow this, I think he's a priest. His name is Brother Diaz. He gets called by the Vatican for this special secret mission, and the other main character, Alex, who is basically a thief. She's been living in poverty for years, and she finds out she's the long lost heir to a throne in Troy, and basically her uncle finds her and he has to figure out a way to safely get her to Troy and get her on the throne. And it turns out the secret mission that Brother Diaz is being put on is actually to get Alex safely to Troy. I'm only 50 pages into this so far, but I really like the writing style and the world building. It's actually not too complicated. I thought it would be a bit more dense because this book is 550 pages. But honestly, it was pretty easily digestible, so I'm looking forward to continuing with this. Also really want to get to The Raven Scholar. This is another high fantasy. I think it's dark as well. And I don't know much about this, but I know it follows this magical academy and there's different sections. And I think one of them is the Raven section. And they all have to compete in trials. That's all I know so far. And this book has so many glowing reviews, which makes me a bit nervous because I'm scared that it's not going to live up to the hype for me, but I'm sure it will. So many people love this book, so I really hope I like it too. And finally, another book that I want to read in December, I think I want to aim to read it, and that is The Everlasting, which is a new Lady Night style romantasy. I don't know much about it. I know it follows two characters and it follows them throughout different lifetimes and timelines. So it's kind of like not a time travel book, but one where they are reincarnated every time they die. And I'm not sure the exact like technicalities of it, but I think they might have to live the same story in each lifetime and they try to figure out a way for it to not end the way it always ends, which I'm pretty sure is probably tragically. The reviews of this have also been so positive. I have read and loved this author's books before, so I really think that I will love this. I'm a bit scared it's not going to live up to the hype. As long as I go in with decent expectations, I think I will really like this. But yeah, those are all the books that I want to get to this winter. Hopefully I can get to them all. Some of them are quite wintry, like The Road of Bones, which are actually set in like a Nordic landscape, but other ones are just kind of like dark fantasy books I think would be very fitting for this time of year, considering it's just dark and miserable all the time. I may as well read books that fit that vibe. At least that's my attempt to make it logical anyway. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know what books you want to get to this winter, and I'll see you in the next one.